Welcome back. You're watching Yahoo Finance Live. We are live from the NASDAQ market site, and it is official. Representative Mike Johnson is the new Republican Speaker of the House. And with less than a month to work out a budgeting deal to avoid a government shutdown, the new leader has a lot to get working on. But who is this congressman from Louisiana? How did he get here? And what does it mean for the House? Yahoo Finance's Rick Newman joins us with what's keeping him up at night and what's worth keeping on your radar. Rick, sorry, I added in a little line there, but I imagine that this has been keeping you up at night a fair bit.
Well, I get some sleep now that there's actually a speaker. You don't have to follow the speaker follies every day, but we'll see how long that lasts. So Mike Johnson is more conservative than the last speaker, Kevin McCarthy. He wants to cut spending along with some of the other hardline Republicans. He has opposed aid to Ukraine. And we're going to find out within a few weeks whether he becomes a little more pragmatic and a little more moderate now that he actually has to get business done in the House. He probably will be, because when you're a lesser known member of Congress, it's easier to make controversial votes. I mean, for example, he's an election denier. He voted against certifying President Biden after the 22 election, which Biden obviously won. And he didn't catch a lot of flack for that. I mean, he wasn't one of the main people either for or against the cause. But now, reporters in the Washington Press Corps are asking him about it. He has to answer for it. He hasn't. So that's the main question. I mean, what we've seen during the last month is that the Trump or the hard right faction in the Republican Party, it sort of has blocking power or veto power, if you will. They can stop stuff from happening, but there aren't enough of them to actually make their own agenda happen. So that's where we are. And look, in order to pass budgeting bills in the House, get aid for Ukraine, for Israel, these other things, parties have to compromise. I mean, this is the way Congress works. Parties do have to compromise. So that's the big question. Is he going to find a way to compromise with Democrats because he's going to need some of their votes? Or is he just going to be kowtowing to this small but veto minority that Republicans have, which means he could end up defenestrated just like Kevin McCarthy did by some point next year?
Rick, you mentioned that he was one of the election deniers, just in terms of where he has stood on other policy issues, how that then could potentially shape what we see coming out of the House here over the coming year. I guess, how do you see that potentially playing out and how that could then maybe ultimately affect in some way 2024?
He's extremely conservative on social issues, such as abortion and things related to that. That doesn't affect markets so much. I guess the thing that our audience will want to care about is he does want aggressive government spending cuts, more than Democrats and Republicans agreed to last June when we had that fight over the debt ceiling. So is he really going to push for that? And remember, Democrats control the Senate. So even if he gets Republican legislation approved in the House, a Democratic-controlled Senate is not going to approve it. And then what do? I mean, the Democrat-controlled Senate is not going to sign off on aggressive spending cuts. So are we going to have some kind of gridlock? Are we just going to have repetitive threats of a government shutdown, and then everybody has to scramble to figure out what does that mean? Probably doesn't hurt markets too bad for just a couple of weeks, but what if it goes longer? Or will we have some semblance of normalcy in Washington for a little while? I think that's the big unanswered question at this point.
Certainly is the unanswered question. All right, Rick, always great to get your perspective. And now we're going to let you maybe catch up on a little more sleep, like Brad alluded to at the top there. Rick, thanks so much.
I need to do. Bye, guys.